So what is literally on my bookshelf lately? As in, what am I reading right now? Well, I've got two books I'm working on. One is fiction and one is nonfiction. So first off, I'm reading this book, hard copy. Actually reading, not audibles this time. Okay. Nonfiction book I'm reading right now is called Jane's Fame, How Jane Austen Conquered the World by Claire Harmon. And this book is a nonfiction book that talks about why she's famous. And what I thought was interesting, so I originally picked this up at my college library. I'm doing a lot of research right now because I'm in the early stages of a book about Jane Austen and her derivatives. And so I'm doing a lot of research. So anyway, I picked this book up at the library and I started reading it, and I realized I really needed a copy of it myself because I'm the type of person, when I need to really dig into a book, I need to write in it. I have to underline things, I have to make notes in the margins. It's just what works for me. And so I will be returning that book to the library, and I bought my own that just popped in the other day. So I've actually started reading it, but now I'm going to go back to the beginning and read it again with pen in hand. Okay, so and I got this used. What I thought was cool too, when I opened it up after opening the package, look what I found inside. Isn't this cute? So it's somebody's postcard. It says, I think it says, Nora found us something on your day to something, happy birthday. I can't quite read the handwriting. The warmth of a friend's presence brings joy to our hearts, sunlight to our souls, and pleasure to all life unknown. And then it's got this cute little... Anyway, I love finding stuff like this in books. Like when I go to the library or I find used books and something like this pops up, it just, I don't know, it warms my heart. So anyway, this was inside the book. And like I said, I'm going to start over reading it. But just to give you a little blurb, this is from the preface, and it explains what the whole book's about. This book charts the growth of Austen's fame and the changing status of her work, and what it has stood for or been made to stand for in English culture over the past 200 years. In the foreground is the story of Austen's authorship, one of persistence, accident, advocacy, and sometimes surprising neglect. Not only did Austen publish her books anonymously and enjoy very little success during her lifetime, but publication itself came only very late, after 20 years of unrewarded labor. I have sought to reconstruct these pre-fame years in the spirit of uncertainty through which Austen lived them. Her prized irony and famous manipulation of tone, I believe, owes much to it. Part of the reason why she pleases us so much now is that she was, for years, pleasing only herself. So this book I think is going to be useful in my research, because one of the things I'm looking at is the whole idea of why people feel pulled into Jane Austen, not just because of her works, but also, you know, everybody wants to know about her life. Everybody wants to be kind of part of it somehow. They want to take ownership of this author, and I think this text kind of talks about it. Like I said, I read the preface, and then I read some of the first chapter, and I was like, okay, I just have to buy this book. And so I'm going to be starting over at the beginning and reading this with pen in hand. So that's my research nonfiction book. Alrighty, so as far as my fun reading, which I'm doing on audibles, that's really why I have audibles. It's for fun reading, not for work or writing related reading, I guess you could put it that way, because as a teacher I read a lot. The book I'm listening to now is called The Restaurant by Pamela Kelly. Oh, that's not working. All right, I'll put a little blippy here, a little picture of it. So it's The Restaurant by Pamela M. Kelly. It's narrated by Leslie Howard, and it is an audiobook. Like I said, I'm about on chapter 9, and I believe there are, how many chapters are there? And I'm a couple hours into it. It's a little over 5 hours, and I have 2 hours read already. And like I said, I'm on chapter 9, and there are 27 chapters, so I have a ways to go. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm not loving it. I'm not overly impressed, but it is a good, fun listen to while I'm driving, that kind of thing. And basically, it tells the story of 3 sisters. And I'm from a family of 3 sisters, so this kind of made me want to read the book to a certain extent. So their grandmother passes away, and the 3 sisters inherit a restaurant, And part of the stipulation, in order to become owners, final owners of the restaurant, they have to work together for a year at the restaurant. And then, of course, there is a male figure who is also part owner of the restaurant. So it's really been split into 4 owners as far as ownership of the restaurant. And then, so those girls, they're close, but they physically have actually moved away from Nantucket. It's setting is Nantucket, by the way. I do tend to like, even though I've never been to Nantucket, I've read a remarkable number of novels set in Nantucket for whatever reason. I do like novels that are actually set in coastal areas. I've read quite a few in Florida, of course. That's where I live. But I do like reading them that are in Nantucket for some reason. But anyway, so it's Nantucket, 3 sisters. They have to work together, and of course they get to know each other and, you know, reconnect basically. So there's going to be some drama. Obviously, one of them's going to probably hook up with the man, with the male character. I mean, that's inevitable. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying the book. It's not wowing me, but it's a fun, you know, escapist type of read. So sometimes I just like that. That's just a way for me to relax, and it's typically what I'm doing when I'm driving in the car or riding my bike or whatever, is I'm listening to something fun. All right, so I'm interested to find out what you are reading right now. Please put it in the comments below. What's on your bookshelf right now? What's on your reading list or whatever, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, a cookbook, whatever's floating your boat, whatever you're reading right now, or is there something in particular you're thinking of reading? I'm interested in that as well. I, of course, have lots of things I'm interested in reading, but I tend to be very linear, so I'm not very good. Like, I can juggle a couple of books at one time, but more than that, I start to kind of get a little overwhelmed. But in fact, if you'd like to see more of my reading lists and reviews that I've written in the past, please join me over on Goodreads. I have, of course, a membership over there, and I would be happy to follow you if you're over on Goodreads as well. Probably you are if you're watching this channel at all. I'm assuming you like books if you're over here. So that's what's on my bookshelf. Please make sure you give this a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications. Bye-bye.